Hello YouTube, today we are going to review a very famous fitness novice program called Icecream Fitness by Jason Blaha. So, to get it out of the way immediately, I'm not going to be focusing on who Blaha is in this video. I do have a ton of data on this individual, and as you maybe know, I have a case profile series where I review certain fitness YouTuber that are quite well known and that I think are interesting. I might or might not make a profile case series on him. I have enough information to make 5 episodes of an hour each. It's up for debate. I'm still thinking about it. I'm not too sure if it would be smart because it would sort of potentially introduce more people to him, which I'm not super keen on. I say that because I'm going to try and focus on the program itself, but please forgive me if I sometimes take a dig at the guy. He makes it too easy. So, this is one of the most well-known fitness programs on YouTube for certain reasons. One, because he himself took time out of his days to chill the program on 4chan, on Reddit, everywhere he could get his pose on, which I'm not going to blame him for. It's a free program at the end of the day, and he did that to get some visibility, which I do too, so fair. But the program can still be criticized. And there are some critics of the program online, but I didn't find any that were up to my standards. So I'm going to review it entirely. It's a 5x5 novice program. I am reviewing the very first version because the very first version is what is the most popular, and you still have people to this day to say that this is a great program. So let's talk about it together and see if it's actually good. Alright, so we're going to start with the introduction of the program where they tell you the summary of the template. After that, we're going to cover the program in itself. And then we might do the FAQ. We're going to do the FAQ in a different episode, I think, because it's super long and it's fun because there's a lot of crunchy ments in there. So, as for the introduction of the program, the main goal is to build muscle. So this is not a strength program, or rather it's not just for powerlifting. They say it's full body, keep that in mind. Training level, it's for beginners, it lasts 12 weeks. Already I have an issue with that because why would you have beginners on a 12 weeks program? They're not trying to peak for meet. Let them stay on the program until it stops working, right? And if your program only works for 12 weeks, it's a bad program. Days per week, 3 days per week. I think 3 days per week is a good frequency for novices. Time per workout, 90 minutes. 90 minutes is pushing it a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not 2 hours, so it's okay. Equipment required, a barbell, cables, blah, blah, blah. So basically a gym. Target gender, male and female. Now that's interesting. I say that because I personally don't think that male and female should train the same way. We have different body types, we have different abilities to handle injuries, we have different muscle distributions, and I think the vast majority of YouTube fitness gathers to men because that's what is on YouTube fitness. Men are attracted to muscle, ironically enough, and therefore they just put the women on the same programs because why would they waste their time on a certain target that represents like 2% of their audience? They don't care enough. I might make videos about the topic, but just for the posterity, I wanted to mention that. Author Jason Blaha. Just to make that clear, he didn't create that program. He didn't invent 5x5. That program is basically Mad Cow 5x5 with some accessories slapped onto it. I already don't like the idea that some people claim they invented programs. Like, you took rep schemes that existed in the past, you took lifts that existed in the past, you mixed everything together, and you made a program. That's great, but it doesn't make you a genius. You didn't invent anything. You created something. You transformed information into a block of training regimen that can be replicated by other people. Everyone can do that. It's not rocket science. But not everyone can make a good program. So we're going to see if that is a good program. Blah, blah, blah. So you basically work 3 days per week. You alternate between workout A and B. So on day 1 you do workout A, on day 3 you do workout B, on day 5 you do workout A, etc., etc. So let's see. I already am a bit miffed because it's supposedly a frequency of 3 days a week. If you have a frequency of 3 days a week, you could have 3 different days. It doesn't mean that you will have to have more exercise selection. It does mean that you could have less exercises in one day. And you're going to see why I'm saying that. Because that type of program has a tendency to slap a buttload of compound movements in one day, and because there's only 2 days, it repeats itself ad infinitum, when adding a third day would allow you to put variations and accessories in the 3 days while not leaving out any compound movements. So on the Icecream Fitness workout day A, you do squats and you do a 5x5. The video on 5x5 is going to drop this week, so stay tuned for that. I don't like 5x5. For novices it is okay, but you're going to see that the weight integrated here is especially bad. Then you do bench press 5x5. So you just worked your legs, you took some time to warm up your legs. Now you're doing bench, which no muscles involved in the squats are worked in the bench. You have to go through a complete warm-up again. This is why I personally don't like programs that don't take into consideration synergy. If you're going to make someone work their lower body, make them work only the lower body and then have another day where they're going to work the upper body. But because this is a full body, this is what we get. This is also why I don't like full bodies. I will make a video about it. Bench press 5x5, okay. Bent over row, so squats, bench press, bent over row. Think about the amount of time you're going to waste warming up for this list. Even for a complete noob who doesn't lift much weight, so they don't go up to 400 pounds on the bar, it doesn't take as much time to warm up. This is a lot of time, in my opinion, wasted, because you're having to rewarm the body again, and again. So you do a bent over row 5x5, then you do a barbell shrugs 3x8. It's such a strange, 3x8 is such a strange rep range, especially for the traps. I think the traps can take more volume than that. And also, I will talk about supersets when we're done, but keep in mind that there are no supersets here. Everything is its own thing, meaning that you're going to do shrugs and then you're going to sit down for 2 minutes. Did you really need to rest for 2 minutes after doing shrugs? My opinion, no. Triceps extensions after that, 3x8, same mentality. Why? Straight bar or incline curls. What even are incline curls? I don't know. Maybe it's the one when you're on the bench. Yeah, I think it's that. Okay, which are completely different types of curls. I love straight bar or easy bar curls are really good because you can load them a lot. Incline curls are a type of curl that you have to use low weight because you overextend the tendon, and in my opinion, it's not a good bicep exercise. And then hyperextensions with plate, 2 sets of 10, okay? And then cable crunches, 3 sets of 10. So the logic behind this that I can see and decipher is you start with what is supposedly strength work, and then you temper it down by slowly reducing tonnage, but because you're also reducing the weight you're going to use, most likely because you're doing isolation movements, it's going to also by itself reduce the tonnage, even if the rep range is not indicative of that. Why do I say that? 5x5 equals 25 in terms of total reps done if you do it all the way. 3 by 8 equals 24. So there's not much of a difference here, right? Because the tonnage you will get is the 25 multiplied by the weight you lifted. But because you're going to lift much less on tricep extensions than on the bench, you're going to get less tonnage. The issue I have with this is that it doesn't make much sense. It's my issue with strength work. If you can get away with getting most of your tonnage from strength work, that's good. What most people should be doing, in my opinion, is getting most of their quality tonnage from strength work without pushing it too far. You can still allow yourself to get a lot of tonnage from the variation in accessories. I would even argue that most of the tonnage should come from that. It reduces injury and it promotes progress just as well, if not better. That's my opinion. So as far as the rep ranges go, I hate the 5x5 on the squat and on the bench press. I especially hate it on the bent over row because bent over row is much more technical than most people think. A lot of noobs are going to use a ton of lower back and legs. And if they manage to get, by some sort of miracle, 5 clean reps on the first set, you can bet your bottom dollar they're not getting 5 clean reps on the last set. They're going to cheat because they want to get that 5x5. So it's an awful rep range for that. Barbell shrugs 3x8, as I said, why even do that? Like, do a 3x20 at this point. Get some volume in. Tricep extensions 3x8. This one I don't hate it as much because you tired the triceps with bench press. And then you do hyperextensions with plates 2x10. This, I don't get this. This is a joke. You worked the lower back with squats and bent over row. But 2x10, I mean, especially because you're doing it with a plate, push that volume up, like do a 4x20, get some hamstring and lower back work in 2x10. The issue with 2x10 too is that the novices are going to use a lot of weight because they think, oh man, I only have 2 sets of this, I better make it work. So they're going to use too much weight and their technique is going to go bad. And then cable crunches. I don't dislike cable crunches. I don't think they are super good. Personally, I never got anything out of them. I think the angle is weird. But so let's look at the day in its entirety, because let me remind you that this is a program to build muscle. And it's a full body, which full bodies, in my opinion, don't work because you're going to see why. There is no long head of the tricep work. The shoulder work is minimal, if not completely inexistent. The only move that is going to work the shoulders here is the bench press, which means you're going to get a ton of front delt, but there is no real or medium delt work at all. You do squats, so you're going to develop the legs, yes, but some people are going to develop much more quads, some people are going to develop much more hamstrings. The glutes should be taken care of, hopefully. The chest is taken care of by the bench press. Bent over rows, depending on how they do it. I mean, I don't get a lot of lats involvement in the bent over row myself. The shrugs are a joke. You don't get enough stimulus for the traps, in my opinion, with that rep range. At least he throws in some curls. I didn't talk about the curls. The curls 3x8 is not bad, but considering that that's it for biceps, that's what you get for the day. It's a 3x8. If you do with an easy bar, it's not too bad, but if you do it with incline curls, it's awful, in my opinion. So I would, on that day, I will afterwards, I will go through and completely redo the days. First I need to really focus on analyzing what I see. So no long head of the tricep, the upper back is going to be lacking. There is no calves, but that's a different story. I don't really care about that. Okay, so that's workout A. A lot of problems already. Workout B. And before I forget, even if it's a novice program, right? People will say, oh, well, if it's a novice program, they should focus on the basics. I agree with that 100%. Focusing on the basics doesn't mean that you have to slam all of the basics in one day with random rep ranges. And just because a 5x5 works for novices doesn't mean that it's the best. So, workout B, squats again. So he has you squat and do a 5x5 every single time you train. I don't think it's necessary. I really don't. The squat is a great exercise, don't get me wrong, but why such a focus on it? And why always in the strength work rep scheme? After that, you do a deadlift, one set of 5 reps. I hate squat and deadlift on the same day. Hate it. I explained why in the Candido video when I reviewed this program. I think it's counterproductive. You're burning yourself out. If you want to squat and deadlift on the same day, have a heavy and a lower variation of the lift. Do a normal squat and then do a stiff leg deadlift. Do a normal deadlift and then do a post squat. Don't do both max intensity because any lift that comes second is going to suffer by default. And then standing press, an overhead press, 5x5. 5x5 for the overhead press is not terrible. For the deadlift, I love 1x5. I think this is actually a great rep scheme for the deadlift because you don't need as much volume on the deadlift. The frequency, especially for novices, doesn't have to be too high. And because you're going to be lifting unless you're a deviant, you're going to lift more weight on the deadlift. So the warm-ups are going to make up for a lot of tonnage. After the overhead press, bent over row, again, 5x5, which as I explained is terrible. And they say 10% lighter than workout A. Okay. They could have just have the trainee do a pendlay row instead, variation. They decided to manipulate intensity instead. That's a choice. Closegrip bench after that. So I see closegrip bench, I'm like, okay, it's a novice program. You want your trainee to have a lot of horizontal press volume, and throwing in 3x8 of closegrip bench is not going to smoke the shoulders. So that's actually good. That's a good way to synergize between the 2 days. It's not terrible. After that, straight bar or incline curls. As I explained in the first day, I don't like that. 3x8, same problem. And then cable crunches again. So, on this day, squat and deadlift on the same day, horrible. The standing press is not terrible to have it on that day. That being said, your shoulders are not going to be warm from squat and deadlift. Your lower back might be fried from squat and deadlift, so the base you use to press on your legs and everything might be wobbly, and for novices who are getting technical with the lifts, it might be setting them up for failure because they're going to overhead press with poor form. That being said, considering there is still a tutorial of Jason Blah online where he explains that you're supposed to press on the overhead press with a bent wrist, I think he doesn't know how to overhead press either, so I'm not surprised. Bent over row is 5x5 is terrible. The close grip bench is good, the straight bar is bad, and the cable crunches I also think is not the best option. So let's now look at each day holistically and change them. Because I am forced to stay within the premises of the template I am given, I will not be adding another day. I'm going to stay with the 2 days, and I'm going to stay with the full body workout. But I'm going to do it right? Full body workouts can be done right, but most people just slap compound movements and they're done with it. This is an example of that. It's bad. So for day A, you start with a heavy squat and you're going to do 5 sets, and you can do 3 to 6 reps or 4 to 6 reps. 4 to 6 reps is a very small margin of evolving rep range. It's not going to be too confusing, but it's still going to allow you to do 6-6-5-5 or a 5-5-4-4 and get a taste of different intensities and teach you how to manipulate volume. After that, a bench press, same logic on the bench press. You are going to do 5 sets of 4 to 6. After that, bent over rows. You don't need 5 sets of bent over rows, especially because he already has you do it again in the workout B. So 3 sets of, we're gonna say 4 to 8 reps. We're gonna really open up the evolving rep range on this one. 4 sets of 4 to 8 reps. That way, let's say you get 7 reps on the first one, but you know your form is becoming a bit bad. You can get 5 reps and then 4 reps on the other ones and stay really clean and technical. The barbell shrugs that follow will be supersetted with the bent over rows, because bent over rows use traps but not that much, and the traps are super resilient so you can follow them up. A barbell shrugs, and see, everything falls into place. The barbell shrugs already have 3 sets. So we're going to do 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps. That way you're really pushing the intensity, you're opening yourself for progress, and you superset the 2. After that, tricep extensions, same logic, 3 sets of 15 to 20. I'm not a fan of 15 to 20, I usually like to stay 10 to 15, but the 10 to 15 is a bit narrow of an evolving rep range for isolation movements. So for novices, I want to open it up a bit more. And you're going to superset the tricep extensions with your straight bar curls. Scrap incline curls. Incline curls don't work with that rep scheme. Straight bar curls, 3 sets, and the rep range is going to be, we can do a 8 by 10, 8 to 12. 8 to 12 is not bad. Really push progress. And then you finish with hyperextensions. And if, let's do 3 sets of that. Hyperextensions with plates, 3 sets of 15 to 20 again, superset with any ab isolation you want. If you want cable crunches, do cable crunches, who cares? 3 sets of same thing, 15 to 20. What I did here, I reorganized the strength work. I created supersets that are going to save you time and boost your metabolism, boost your ability to create cardiovascular endurance. I made the supersets work with each other by rearranging the rep schemes, by upping volume a ton, but still giving you the ability to control intensity and volume within the workout so that you can always finish your workouts. You're not stuck within the rep scheme that if you don't get it, the rest of the workout is up in flames. So that's A. Workout B. You start with deadlift, not with squat. You start with heavy deadlifts and you do 1 set of 5 reps. That's all good. If you feel so inclined, you can do some back off work of, you can do a 3 by 3 or a 3 by 4, whatever you want. 3 by 3 would work. 3 by 3, no evolving rep range. Why? Because you're going to work with sub-maximal work. We're working on technique and just adding safe tonnage. After deadlift, squats, but light. So you either do light squats, but I would even tell you do post squats, do a variation, do front squats. And you're going to not do it as strength work because you already have done squats as strength work. And just like I did with the workout A, I think that having 2 exercises working as strength work is plenty in one workout. And even 3 would be too much. So let's stick with 2. Workout A was squat and bench. This is going to be, spoiler alert, deadlift and overhead press. So for the squats, you're going to do 3 sets of 8 to 12 or 3 sets of 6 to 10, depending on what you like. After that, standing overhead press. You're going to do 5 sets of 4 to 6. And that's going to be another iteration of the strength work. After that, bent over row. No need to go lighter. You're still going to do 3 sets of, I think I said 4 to 8. So 3 sets of 4 to 8. After that, close grip bench press. He already had the close grip bench press as an accessory and not strength work. And if you don't understand the difference between the two, strength work is going to be strictly focused on progress and on intensity, right? It's not going to be something that promotes volume too much, but I will be making a video on the hypertrophy series about that. So the close grip bench is going to stay as a 3x8, and because it now falls in the same range as the overhead press, you can superset them. I don't think it's going to take that much strength out of you. It's going to be tough on the cardiovascular system, but it's a good boost. You know what? Never mind. Let's keep the overhead press by itself. Oh no, even better. You're going to take the straight bar curls, and we're going to, instead of doing 3 sets of 8 to 12, you're going to do 5 sets of 6 to 12. So you really open the evolving rep range. You superset the straight bar curls with the overhead press. That's not going to damage your ability to press at all, I know for a fact. And you are going to then superset the bent over rows with the Closegrip Bench because they both have 3 sets. And we scrap the abs. You did squats and deadlifts and overhead press and bent over rows. You don't need to do more abs. It's all good. And so this is also going to lead to more synergy with the workout A, where there were only 2 lifts that weren't superset and the rest was all superset. So workout A had squats and bench press that were standalone lifts with no supersets. Workout B has squats and deadlift being standalone lifts with no supersets. So that's nice. We have built a continuity. This is perfect. As far as additions, there are no pull-ups in this program. Slap more pull-ups in. The pull-ups can be done at the very end. They can be superset with pretty much anything as far as it's not the strength work. Strength work shouldn't be superset because you want to be fully focused. But because there is no vertical pulls in here. So add pull-ups in there, that's really important. And there is no long head of the tricep work. So you can switch the tricep extensions of day A with skull crushers. You can switch the cable curl, the cable crunches of workout B with behind the head cable extensions. But overall, because it's a novice program, as long as I see some isolation movements, especially for the biceps, I'm okay with it. It starts becoming a problem when there are entire parts of the body that are ignored when you become an intermediate. But as a novice, you're trying to build a base and you're not going to stay a novice for a long time, so that's okay. As I said, when I'm given a template, I don't like to add things because I feel like if I just rearrange the template, I can already make something great, which is what I did here, in my opinion. I just rearranged stuff around. So that's that. I didn't add anything, I just made, you can make something great out of something bad just with the pre-existing material that is given to you, which is why I say people who claim that they made a great program, it's dumb. Did I just make a great program? No, I was given things and I just rearranged them. It's the same for Jason Blaha. For him, he just copy-pasted the program and added some shrugs. But for the person that he copied on, even that person didn't come up with anything revolutionary. They just added notions that were given to them by someone else, be it a book or a teacher. And that's going to be that for the day. I pretty much wrapped it up. And as I predicted, we don't have time for the FAQ. So I will do the FAQ another day. The FAQ is super funny because the way he answers questions is just, it's a riot. So we're going to stop here. I hope that for anyone who wanted to do the Icecream Fitness Program, this is going to be informative. And that you're going to follow the way I reprogrammed it because I think it's just strictly better. So that's going to be that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.